កម្ពុជាខ្មែរគ្រប់គ្នាពីមទាសិទ្ធិសេរីឯករាជ្យបូរណភាពអធិបតេយ្យខ្មែរប្រស្រីបដូរផ្ដាច់ថែរក្សាមិនឲ្យបរទេសឆ្លៀនពៀនមកត្រួតត្រាសម្បត្តិដូនតាធនធានជាតិខ្មែរព្រះអាទិត្យរាំងបំភ្លឺកម្ពុជាខ្មែរឯកភាពគ្នាដងស្រាយបញ្ហាយកបាយសេដ្ឋកិច្ចសង្គមអហិង្សាសូមអត់ថ្លៃថ្លាជីវភាពរុងរឿងដីយើងពូជយើងភូខលយើងខ្មែរក្រមឡានសង្គមជាតិខេមរាបោះឆ្នោតឲ្យចំដល់អំណាចជូនប្រជាដើម្បីកម្ពុជារួមរស់សេងសានជ័យយោគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិសមាជិកគណៈបក្សសង្គ្រោះជាតិប្រាជ្ញាថ្មីគ្មានសាមគ្គីក្រុមនានាសង្គ្រោះបំរើការពារកម្ពុជាខ្មែរគ្រប់គ្នាពីមទាសិទ្ធិសេរីឯករាជ្យបូរណភាពអធិបតេយ្យខ្មែរប្រស្រីបដូរផ្ដាច់ថែរក្សាមិនឲ្យបរទេសឆ្លៀនពៀនមកត្រួតត្រាសម្បត្តិដូនតាធនធានជាតិខ្មែរព្រះអាទិត្យរាំងបំភ្លឺកម្ពុជាខ្មែរឯកភាពគ្នាដងស្រាយបញ្ហាយកបាយសេដ្ឋកិច្ចសង្គមអហិង្សាសូមអត់ថ្លៃថ្លាជីវភាពរុងរឿងដីយើងពូជយើងភូខលយើងខ្មែរក្រមឡានសង្គ្រោះជាតិខេមរាបោះឆ្នោតឲ្យចំផ្ដល់អំណាចជូនប្រជាដើម្បីកម្ពុជារួមរស់សេងសាន
And hello, thank you for joining our show. My name is Linda. This is CNRP-America live Facebook Live. My name again, Linda this is part of the CNRP-America live show. Our show is called Khmer Youth Voices for Justice. Again, thank you for joining our show. And if you haven't heard me wish you Happy New Year, I would like to wish you a Happy New Year. Hopefully 2022 will be a better one for you if 2021 was not so great for you. Also, today is Tuesday, April 26, 2022. Let me see. We have a short video clip describing ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. It's been over a year that we are seeking your petition, seeking your signature. Until today, we are still seeking your signature as well because I want to bring up a little current event before I even started. But I would like you to watch a video by Her Excellency Mosakur thanking you, our audience and our supporter that have signed and share and also promote the petitions of ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. Ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. Your support is vital in collecting more than 500 is vital because we would like to collect at least 500,000 signatures. So together we fight to end impunity. Together we will find justice for victims of state-backed killing in Cambodia. the video by Her Excellency Mosako thanking you when the petition reached 100,000 signature. We have over 100,000 now, but after the video, we will talk about the 10-year anniversary of Mr. Chudwuthi, and till today, there's no justice for him. So we will touch base on a little bit on that. Our topic for tonight is economic impact of Ukraine wars on developing country such as Cambodia. I haven't talked about Ukraine on my show, but we will talk about a little bit, and we also make a stand. We stand with the people of Ukraine. We feel their pain, we feel their suffering, and we are seeking peace as soon as possible for the people of Ukraine. So please watch a little bit of the short clip by Her Excellency Mosako thanking you, the supporter of ending impunity for justice in Cambodia. And it is very important because today, like I said, today is the 10-year anniversary of Mr. Chudwuthi assassinations. And until 10 years later, there's no justice, and we need to find justice for him. We need to find justice for all these state-backed killing in Cambodia. Let me see.
អីប៉ាធ្វើល្អបានគេសម្រាប់
រដ្ឋប្រហារថ្ងៃទី5 ទី6 ជីវជាត្រូវបានខ្មាន់កំភ្លើង
សំ
បា
ណុ
ញ
ំ
សម្
រឿង
លាប់
នេះជាប់ពាក់ព័ន្ធនឹងរាជរដ្ឋាភិបាលនៅអ្នកស្រីពីស្រុក
លោកបណ្ឌិតកាន់លីត្រូវបានខ្មាន់កំភ្លើងបាញ់សម្លាប់
3គ្រាប់កាលពីថ្ងៃក្រោយប៉ុន្តែយកទៅប្រាក់ណាបេះដូងលែងដើរសកុតភ្លៀង
ខ្ញុំសូមថ្លែងអំណរគុណទៅដល់បងប្អូនដែលបានចូលរួមចុះហត្ថលេខាលើញ៉ាត់
យុទ្ធនាការបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅកម្ពុជា
តាមនិយាយទាំងអស់ពីពិភពលោកបានចូលរួម
ធ្វើនៅកាតព្វកិច្ចដ៏សំខាន់មួយ
ពិសេសយុវជនដែលបានចូលរួមញ៉ាត់បញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជារបស់យើង
ហើយក៏ជាលើកទី1នៅក្នុងប្រវត្តិសាស្ត្រដែលបងប្អូនខ្មែរទូទាំងពិភពលោកអាចមានឱកាសចូលរួមស្វែងរកយុត្តិធម៌
ជូនអ្នកដែលបានបាត់បង់ជីវិតទៅ
ហើយនៅពេលនេះញ៉ាត់យើងបានជាង 100000
ដែលញ៉ាត់របស់យើងគឺមានចំនួន 100000 ជាងហើយ
មិនដែលមានញ៉ាត់ណាមានខ្ពស់ដល់ប៉ុណ្ណឹងហើយនីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដែលយើងចង់បញ្ចប់គឺករណីសម្លាប់ដោយរដ្ឋដូចជាករណីលោកជាវិជាករណីលោកស្រីពិសិដ្ឋលក្ខណៈករណីលោកកែមលីករណីលោកឈុតវិធីករណីនៃបដិជនសុនប៊ុនធឿន
បានសម្លាប់ទង្ពាលទៅលើពលរដ្ឋទៅលើអ្នកចេះដឹងទៅលើអ្នកដែលឈឺឆ្អាលរឿងប្រទេសជាតិរឿងនយោបាយ
ហើយបន្តប៉ុណ្ណោះគឺយើងនឹងស្វែងរកយុត្តិធម៌នៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជាទៀតមិនឲ្យមានការកាប់សម្លាប់ប្រជាពលរដ្ឋក្រៅប្រព័ន្ធច្បាប់នោះទេ
ដូច្នេះយុទ្ធនាការនេះគឺជាយន្តការអន្តរជាតិមួយដើម្បីជួយរកយុត្តិធម៌គាត់តាមរយៈអន្តរជាតិ
ដើម្បីយើងប្តឹងទៅតុលាការអន្តរជាតិជួយរកភាពយុត្តិធម៌ជូនអ្នកដែលបានបាត់បង់ជីវិត
ញ៉ាត់ដែលយើងបានមកចុះហត្ថលេខាជាង 100000 នាក់នេះគឺយើងយកទៅអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិដើម្បីទាមទារឲ្យអង្គការសហប្រជាជាតិដឹងថាត្រូវតែមានការស៊ើបអង្កេតដោយឯករាជ្យលើករណីទាំងអស់នេះ
លុះត្រាតែបងប្អូនយើងទាំងអស់គ្នានៅក្នុងស្រុកនិងក្រៅស្រុកចូលរួមឲ្យបានច្រើនបន្តនៅយុទ្ធនាការបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
ដូច្នេះសូមបន្តចុះញ៉ាត់ឲ្យបានច្រើនគ្រប់គ្នាបន្ថែមទៀត
ហើយខ្ញុំសង្ឃឹមថាពុកម៉ែបងប្អូននឹងបន្តចុះញ៉ាត់អនឡាញនេះបន្តទៅទៀត
ដើម្បីឈានទៅរកយុត្តិធម៌ជូនដល់ជនរងគ្រោះហើយបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
ដោយគ្រាន់តែបងប្អូនមានត្រឹមតែទូរស័ព្ទដៃមួយគ្រឿងនេះគឺជារឿងអស្ចារ្យមួយនៅក្នុងសតវត្សទី21នាសម័យបច្ចេកវិទ្យានេះ
យើងរួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជា
ចូលរួមបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅក្នុងកម្ពុជា
យើងចូលរួមបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជាទាំងអស់គ្នា
យើងរួមគ្នាដើម្បីបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
ដើម្បីបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពឲ្យមានយុត្តិធម៌នៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
រួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
រួមគ្នាបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពដើម្បីយុត្តិធម៌នៅកម្ពុជា
សូមបងប្អូនចូលរួមចុះហត្ថលេខាលើញ៉ាត់របស់យើងដើម្បីបញ្ចប់វប្បធម៌នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅប្រទេសកម្ពុជាដើម្បីរកយុត្តិធម៌ជូនទៅដល់អ្នកដែលរងគ្រោះ
ចូលរួមបញ្ចប់នីតិរដ្ឋភាពនៅក្នុងប្រទេសកម្ពុជា
Please help to support and still continue to sign if you haven't done so, and share and also pass around the petitions. The petition is, you can sign them anonymously. So online at change.org. I will put the link later on today. Again, your support is very important as today we remember a man that had been assassinated 10 years ago. His name is Chutputhi. Before I continue and tell our audience, our youth, who he is, let me introduce our guests. I have two wonderful guests. My first guest, his name is, both of my guests today, both of my guests are from Canada today. My first guest, his name is Vannarin Puth. He is the CNRPA, CNRPO member and treasurer in Montreal, California. Let me bring him out. ជំរាបសួរលោកពូ
បាទជំរាបសួរ Linda ជំរាបសួរ
How are you?
Good. Montreal, Canada. It's not Montreal, California.
I keep saying California.
Yeah, it's okay.
I think this is like the many times, like I think I talked with Mr. Sophoan too. I keep saying California, Montreal, Canada. So both of my
in fact, the whole Canada have the same population in California, you know. So
how is Montreal, Canada? How are you doing?
Good. The weather recently, the last 2 years, it's good. It's nice. We hit 15-20 degrees Celsius, and for us, 20 degrees Celsius is very nice temperature for this time of the month. But it's good, and everything else also, everything is good. Thank you so much.
Did you have a chance to go to the temple to celebrate our Khmer New Year's the past 2 weeks?
Myself had been to temple in Montreal called Temple Pomona. You know, I went once and very busy, and we do some other activity last weekend too.
How's the temple? Is people going back to the temple, and is Canada open up already? So that way, because 2 years ago, I know they're very strict. There's no celebration. I know this year, in America, it's open up. So how's Canada? Is people still staying home, trying to avoid the crowd? And how's Canada doing?
Yeah, I believe most of the people in Canada are still afraid of the COVID transmission, you know, and even in our temple, it much less people than what used to be, you know, but still, we have few people, some people, but not as crowd as what we used to have, you know. So, generally, many people are still afraid in Canada. Yeah.
Thank you, Lukpu, and thank you for being here today. I appreciate your time. My second guest, his name is Sophoan Seng. He is the chairman of Electoral Commissioners for Overseas Cambodians called CEROC. He is in Vancouver, Canada. Hopefully I didn't say California again, but let me bring him out. ជំរាបសួរ លោក Sophoan.
ជំរាបសួរ Hello ជំរាបសួរលោកពូ Vannarin
បាទជំរាបសួរលោក Sophoan.
How are you doing, Lok Sophoan, in Vancouver?
Yeah, very good. The weather today, a lot of sunshine, but it started to rain a little bit after take kids to the pool and the gym. So the kids like swimming and playing with the water. So water is very good source for the kids.
Did you have a chance to go to the temple and in Vancouver to celebrate our Khmer New Year? And so how's everyone and how's the environment regarding the COVID-19?
Yeah, happy Khmer New Year. I think it's not too late to say that. We went to the temple, and especially I want to teach my children to understand the Khmer traditional Khmer New Year, and also leading them by example. We worship and chanting in front of the Buddha statue, in front of the monk, and we did offering by providing collecting arm to the arm bowl, and all the children follow suit. So it makes sense a lot. Yeah, it does make sense a lot that we celebrate the Khmer New Year and let them know. Because at school in here, Canada education system is very diverse and very tolerant, and they teach children understanding different cultures. Like my daughter asked me, at school they teach about Chinese New Year. Chinese New Year and Khmer New Year is the same? They keep asking me. Yeah. And they also teach another New Year, but not Khmer New Year at school. And I explained my kid that because we are like minority, because we not have many population like Chinese Canadian, right? And also China have the largest population in the world, one country, and almost beat Europe or America or not America. That's why they teach about Chinese New Year, so that you understand different culture, and you are the winner when you know different culture, because you can go and adapt yourself with every culture. If you know only one culture, you can adapt yourself. That's what I told my children, and they like that. That's why I try to understand my parents' culture and Khmer New Year. So I took them to the temple, and you see by yourself and you practice by yourself, better than they did just explain you about Khmer culture. So they
Good.
like it. Yeah.
How's the crowd in Vancouver now?
Well, right now no mask required, and it seemed like it started to be become normal before the pandemic, but the commodities is high. The price is very high now, like gasoline and food and other things, especially basic needs, are inflated.
Yes, inflations. That's what we're gonna touch base on our inflation a little bit in America. So, and also that's one of our topic one that we touch base before we started into our topic. Our topic today is economic impacts of Ukraine war on developing countries such as Cambodia. When we're talking about developing countries, talking about poor country that's still America does not consider developing, Europeans not consider developing, but Cambodia and many other poor areas of the country considered developing, and they are very sensitive to world economy. Anything that shake the economy, it will impact. So before we started, let me share a picture so our youth in America will understand. I know Mr. Sophoan and Lukpu Vannarin, he know who it is that I'm talking about. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, that's Chutbuti. Today is the 10-year anniversary of Chutbuti assassinations. Chutbuti was one of the Cambodian most vocal environmental activists. So this is according to Global Witness. He was one of the few people willing to speak out against the illegal logging and land grabbing, which continue till today. Seen as a direct threat to the country military, business, and political elite, he continued to advocate regarding environment. So he was just 45 years old when he was murdered, leaving a wife and 3 children. So the government, the Hun Sen regime investigation into his murder was open and closed within 3 days, and those involved were never held to account. So Chutbuti murder resonate not just in Cambodia but globally, because we are talking about environmental. So this is 10 years ago on April 26, 10 years ago, he was assassinated. They assassinated him. So I would like our youth to remember, even though our topic is not about Mr. Chutbuti, I did this, I did the show last year regarding him. So I would like to touch base a little bit and remember who he is. Mr. Seng, Mr. Sophoan, Sophoan, and Lukpu Vannarin, would you like to add anything regarding why he's important and why our youth should remember what's going on with this man? And also, this is the reason why we have one of the our petitions ending impunity for justice in Cambodia, because we want to find justice for him and also for his family, that the regime against and endlessly cannot find the perpetrator to bring to justice. Looks upon, you can start.
Oh yeah, thank you. Yeah, further I would like to pay my respect and gratitude to our hero, Mr. Chutwiti. In Cambodia, Mr. Chutwiti is regarded as the well-known environmentalist. I read about his biography. So he was a soldier, and Vietnamese back soldier, not the Khmer soldier. So he traveled from forest to forest, from river to river, from mountain to mountains. That's why he spent his younghood in the forest as a soldier, and he started to love nature, to love jungle and forest, and he know a lot about the forest, according to the biography. That's why when after the Paris Peace Agreement election, he started NGO, a movement, a campaign to protect the forest, which is considered the largest natural resources for Cambodia. The forest doesn't give only benefit to the community and to the environment. It gives benefit to the nation, especially economic development. If you know how to take profit from forest. So Chutwati is very active. He was working without salary at the beginning, and after that he has some funds, but it's not enough funds. I think not enough salary for him. But he really dedicating himself to protect the forest by sacrificing his own life, because he got life threatening several times about his activism to protect the forest. And finally, he was shot in, I think, Koh Kong. Koh Kong is one of the largest leftover forests in Cambodia, especially the special and rare trees that those are invaluable. Yeah. And he was shot, and the world was shocked, not only Cambodian people. So today is 10 years, and I congratulated and my humble respect to those young youth movement in Cambodia, like ex-monk Kurt Sarai. He is the president elected for what we call the Khmer Intellectual Organization. So he is leading the remembrance ceremony. And also, I think his son is in Cambodia too, or is in the US too, and he organized another ceremony throughout the temple, through our diaspora, Cambodian community diaspora, to commemorate to his activism and his heroism to protect the Cambodian forest. So I hope everybody recognize him and remember him, and translate those remembrance into action plan and into implementation. We have to love, to care, and to protect the forest. So we have to campaign against deforestation in Cambodia.
Thank you, Lok Sophoan, Lok Pu Vannarin. It's been 10 years. He was assassinated on April 26, 2012. So this is 10 years. Does Cambodia still have the problem? Is that a chronic problem regarding deforestation and land grabbing, especially land grabbing? It's happened everywhere in Cambodia.
Yeah, I believe he's not only one that assassinated. In fact, we have other youth, other people that was injured or was in jail because they want to protect the environment, the forest. The answer from me, what I want to say is, I believe the deforestation and land grabbing in Cambodia continue and even getting worse. The last 2-3 years, with the problem of the COVID, and also with the single party in power, there are no voice, there are no opposition party voice. That is even worse. with a new minister, Sam Samal. He's minister of the energy and what they call, you know, and this guy even was right now, they are known of the youth, known of the activists can go to in the forest, you know. So the problem is was even we don't hear often, but really was, you know, because like I said, there are no one, no journalist, no youth can go to in the forest. And recently, I believe today we heard about the land grabbing in Prahia province that big three company that has some relation with the Hun Sen to extract the mine, gold mine, you know, and grabbing the land from agriculture, from farmer, and really very sad. Nobody protect, nobody like, you know, when the people, the weak people don't have anything fight against this regime, because this regime knew the military, the soldier back up to the province leader, to the company, so they lose everything. So as I said, the problem continues and even worse, but we didn't hear often because of the COVID and because of the single party, no voice, no opposition voice at all in Cambodia right now. That's what I want to say right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lukpu. So, Mr. Sophoan, and we all, like Lukpu said, you know, it being worse, the activists, environmental activists not able to go into the forest to investigate, and also we never hear problem. We never hear the authorities say, "Oh, we arresting such and such company for deforestations." Is that because of the head of the state that get involved with it? Because when we in America or we in Canada, we when people are involved, they always catch them. They always, because those, again, the environmental is something that's very important to the U.S. Government. But in Cambodia, it's very important as well. But I'm not sure you ever heard of anyone get arrested beside normal people that getting arrested for collecting branches, where the deforestation, I never see, oh, there's a truckload of wood or truckload of tree that loaded and ever been arrested. Have you ever heard of that the government, the regime arresting people beside small branches?
No, Mr. Hun Sen, he always yeah, I think I forgot, but it's not many years ago he promised to behead himself, to cut his head, put to the ground, if he cannot stop the deforestation and timber, timber businesses, illegal business. And I think last few years he promised again through the microphone. But according to the investigator and observer, whenever he promised, it means that the timber is more cut and more exported to neighbor country like Vietnam and Thailand. And the biggest associates that have been notoriously run a timber business, they are very close to Mr. Hun Sen. We can say that those are just working for Mr. Hun Sen to get money for him. Because without authorization from Mr. Hun Sen, they cannot perform or undertake such large-scale deforestation. That's why Lupu Vannarin mentioned about Minister Sai Som-al. He is the son of Mr. Sai Chom, the top echelons of the Cambodian People's Party, the government-led party at the present. And so Mr. Sai Som-al or Ministry of Environment or Ministry of Agriculture or other ministry, they cannot use their legitimate power to stop those high-ranking officers from timber business, from deforestation, and illegal land concessions and land grab. Because in Cambodia, from the research, they found that they are a power exercising state inside the state. So that means as a government, it's just a peer outside. They have ministries, they have titles, whatever. But there's another group that has more power than the government, that they can run businesses, they can commit money laundering, or they can kick the member of parliament with impunity, you know. Even though the Ministry of Interior, Mr. Sophoan, or police, national police, or whatever, they cannot intervene those illegal action from another group of power. So this is the call exercising power inside the state. It means that state working inside the state. This is how we can say that how the black gangs they undertake the business, you know, because they create different level or different tier of group to oversee each other, and some group have more power than other groups, and nobody can intervene when someone commit or undertake illegally. So in Cambodia it's the same, and until now we don't see any high-ranking officer that illegally deforested or run a business timber without giving benefit or tax, paying tax to the government coffer, you know, to the budget, government budget. They just run business for their own private pocket, or they run business to gain financial support to the People Party, you know, Cambodian People Party. So all those are, you know, lucrative in Cambodia. And for the international community, they cannot intervene. Only Cambodian people can exercise their rights, and independent media can, you know, broadcast or publish about those activities. But right now, no independent media, and also international communities, they only can blacklist Cambodia. So in Europe, from the freedom country, they already put Cambodia as a blacklist of money laundering, because, you know, the government outside, they're thinking about law, they respect the law. But another group of government inside the government, like I say, state inside state, they just do whatever they gain money or power. They don't care. Yeah, that's why those money laundering is happening. Yeah, not only selling gold, timber, or natural resources, even though petroleum, there are still someone thief, you know, some thief stole a big ship of first drop of oil from petroleum from Cambodia, delivered to Malaysia, to Indonesia, you know. Indonesia authority arrested, not Cambodia, you know. You cannot imagine the big ship with a lot of oil, cracked oil, delivered to Indonesia, hiding from the authority. It's unbelievable. It must be a conspiracy, you know. And another illegal activities that they can make money, especially casino. And we see the Naga World Casino. They don't care about the worker. They don't care about the union, because they run illegal business, money laundering, from black money from China, black money from Middle East, or black money from somewhere else, you know. This is the state of issue that very injustice and very bad for the Cambodia as a nation. And for the deforestation is the leadership like this. They created state inside the state like this, you know. We cannot protect the forest because they make money from that. And those that run a business for the timber, they still have power and they still find money and they have big men behind them. This is what I just talk according to the researchers. This is what the research found.
Thank you, Sophoan. And again, we spent 30 minutes talking about Mr. Chudwati because he was assassinated 10 years ago on April 26, 2012. For our youth, what we need to you need to remember, he is one of the few people who's willing to speak out against the illegal logging and land grabbing. The chronic issue of illegal logging and land grabbing still exists today, and this is 10 years later. So Mr. Chudwati was assassinated because he was seen as a big threat to the country. Mr. Sophoan and also Vannarin said it already. It's a big threat to the country military and business and political elite. And also Cambodia is a one country state which it's run by Hun Sen for many years, for almost 40 years. So anything that become as a big threat, it's being eliminated. So and Mr. Chudwati, like I said, 10 years ago, he was assassinated, and 10 years ago, the problem is still continue to go on. And both guys agree because one party, one man on top of that party and control everything, control natural resources, it's not about protecting natural resources, eliminate and looting natural resources in the name of development and selling those land. And when they sign contract with the Chinese or the Vietnamese government, those are 99-year contract, and when those land being contract, that nobody can go in and look at what's going on in the forest. And many times those land that being signed contract for 99 years, the forest being cleared out. So Mr. Chudwati and everyone, this is chronic issue over 10 years ago, and it still happened. And for our youth that might just watch our show today, probably hearing about land grabbing, probably hearing about illegal logging of forests in Cambodia. It doesn't just happen right now. It's happened many years ago. And the chronic issue, you would think that 10 years ago someone would have brought into attention and solved issue, but it didn't. So today we remember a man who very outspoken on environmental act. He's one of the environmental activists in Cambodia. So thank you, Lokbu Vannarin and Lok Sophoan, putting your input and letting our youth know who he is. Before we delay, let's go on to our topic. We will talk about the economic impact on from the Ukraine war, and first we'll talk about the G7 countries. So Lok Sophoan and Lok Vannarin will give them an input in via Canada, where I'm in America. I will give my little take on America, and also we will talk about why it's the poor country like Cambodia is really very sensitive to this global what's going on in the world. So it's very important. Like if you live in America or you live in Cambodia or anywhere in the world, need to pay attention to the world news, because a little bit like that will affect your life, will affect everyone's life. So before I start with Ukraine, I just want to first say that we stand in solidarity with the Ukraine people. We are hopeful for a path to peace. Hopefully soon. We are heartbroken by the violence and the loss of life due to the invasions of Ukraine. So our heart go out to the people of Ukraine, their loved one, and all those affected. So we see it on the news every day. So we continue to pray. We continue to pray for a path toward peace. Russia invasions of Ukraine started on February 24, 2022. So it's been 2 months and 3 days. 2 months and I guess 2 days. And it's 2 months too long, and it's too long for this. And I know I wasn't born in the war. I know look Sophoan and look Vannarin probably when you see this new of the invasions probably trigger many memory of the past. So with that, I want look Vannarin to share like how do you feel when you heard about the news? Because this is my first time talking about Ukraine, and I just want to say that we are standing by Ukraine. We are, praying for peace.
First of all, yeah, the same thing like Linda said, we support the Ukraine people. We support the Ukraine leader, the Vladimir Zelensky. It's the best president ever, in the history of the to fight to protect the democracy. And the topic about the economy because of this war, as first I would like to talk about macro economy first, or we can call world economy, or the economy of the G7 or G20. That for sure, if these the big country, these economy driven country have problem, for sure it touch also both for the small country like Cambodia or like other poor country, we call developed country or poor country or third world country, any of these. Talking about the macro economy, I want to raise two section or two type, about the agriculture product and the energy product. Why I talk about that? Because these two products, these two type of economy, is really the heart of all the family in the world. So agriculture product, is the first country that export the fertilizer in the world. Okay, first country number one that export almost $10 billion per year just from the azote and potassium and also the phosphorus. So number one is Russia and number two is Canada. Canada is number two in the world. They support a lot of potassium. Potassium is the ingredient that make all the flour and the fruit, like corn or wheat, everything based on potassium. For sure, when we penalize, we condemn the Russia, they know that what is the result of that. Nobody can replace export of the fertilizer from Russia. That's why the price of the food in the world, the fertilizer is double price right now. So when the fertilizer is double, all the food, because today the agriculture is based on the fertilizer. When the fertilizer increase, everything increase, And second is the grain. Russia and Ukraine export, it means 30% of the wheat grain in the world export by Ukraine and Russia. These two countries export most of the wheat. Okay, so who buy the wheat? All the countries in the world, especially China, Middle East country. So these people are affected. Just only China, they import $131 billion of the food. $131 billion of the food related, the food related include meat, include wheat, include rice, include everything, but $131 billion per year, just China. So imagine how many countries rely on the food from other country, because each country try to make their economy be based on what they all good on it. Like China, they try to do a lot of product, cheap product, to export. So they just eliminate all the field rice, the field of banana or whatever, So they try to import. So this country is affected, and they said that 1/3 of agriculture product is consumed by animal, by beef, by animal, pork or you know, you name it. So chicken. So when the agriculture product is raised, the food raised, the meat raised, everything is raised, you know. So that is obvious, though there are no choice. Second one of the economy that very, very difficult is energy. You know, again, Russia is number 2 in the world about export of petrol brut, plus the gas, natural gas to the whole entire European rely on natural gas of Russia, you know. So these two factors, this petrol product, everybody need petrol. Everybody do the energy based on gasoline, based on mazout. Everything is based on petrol, you know. So that's why it's very, very difficult to replace these products. Even Canada, United States, Australia try to crank up their production. Arabia Saudi, you know, crank up production. It's very, very difficult to fill the whole what Russia can export. You know, that is the two main reason why the world economy is almost collapsed right now, because of these two type of product, agriculture product and the energy product. That's what I want to say. So it's not easy, but for sure we pass through. We support democracy. We work on the Ukraine side to give an example how to protect democracy. And even Ukraine people is with the best leader in the world, with the good example leader. I believe Ukraine can win this war. Solo, you know, the Russia supposed to get the whole Ukraine 48 hours, but now last Linda said it's 2 months and 2 days right now, and you see now, but there's some price we need to pay for that. Is economy. Thank you.
Thank you, Lupu. Let me put it into perspective. This is based on, Lupu summarize a lot, but let me do a little bit. This is based on the United Nations Foods and Agriculture Organizations, stand for short FAQ. They did they recording. So food prices, this is as of April 8th. So it's like 2 weeks ago. Food prices are 34% higher this year than last year when it's compared to last year. Crude oil prices have been increased around 60%. Gas and fertilizer prices have more than doubled. So that just put into perspective, summary of what Lupu Vannarin is talking about, that all the price increases. Sophoan, do you notice anything increase or anything happen in Canada?
Yeah, there are 3 points that I want to take into topic, to elaborate a little bit. First point is pandemic. So we got 2019 with the pandemic. So every country closed up, you know, they closed the country, no trading, and right now running supply chain, you know, running out of stock, running out of commodities, even no food. Sometimes we're running out of toilet paper, you know. So pandemic caused a lot of economic downturn. Since 2019 until 2022, economic become better. I mean, situation become better, but we face another challenges is the war in Ukraine. In February 20, I think around 28, that Mr. Putin decided to invade Ukraine, and he said that 24 hours he will take over the Kyiv capital city and replace the current government leading by Zelensky. But he cannot do that, you know. He failed until today. I think almost 3 months, 2 months, over 2 months, right? So the war is still ongoing, and the new Cold War, some commentator describe, and other commentators said it can lead to World War III or World War number 3, you know. So it's very scary and very scary. And this war, you know, caused a lot of problem, like Mr. Vannarin described about the shortage of energy, because Russia is the #1 provider of energy to Europe and to North America. And energy from Russia is very cheap, even though right now China and India are still buying energy from Russia, you know, because they like cheap price, you know. And also the agriculture product, especially from Ukraine. Ukraine exported #1, like Mr. Puth said, is the sunflower that can make oil, you know, oil from sunflower, and also the wheat. In Europe, like almost 45% they consume wheat from Ukraine. And overall, every country right now they have mandated new law to spend huge expense on military, so that they can protect the country and they can provide assistance to Ukraine to stop Putin's ambition to expand his Russia Union that he dreamed for before, right? But his dream is failed, you know. He cannot beat the war. But the economy downturn will continue to suffer, that according to what I see. And Sri Lanka is facing economic crisis. And if you believe in domino theory, it might be go like country by country and go to the world, global crisis, you know. And since yesterday and today, the stock market, I don't know if Cambodian people watching this, they are playing stock or not, they're buying stock or not, or they play a little bit or play medium or they play a lot, I don't know. But it's very interesting. If we talk about economy, we talk about stocks market. Cambodia, we don't have stock yet because we don't have regulation and law, and we don't have court that can guarantee the stock market. That's why Cambodia like left behind about 300 years ago. Because stock started about 200 years ago, and Cambodia still today no stock in the country. You know, they try, but they cannot, because they cannot bring trust to the buyer because of the administrative system, very corrupt. So in US, you know, US is the #1 country that have stock, and billionaire or millionaire, they made a lot of money from stocks, you know. And right now, like since yesterday and today, the stock become what we call facing down or crashing, whatever. I don't know. That yeah, it's a lot of crashing down, and the commentator and the researcher try to explain that because U.S. federal government increased the rate, mortgage rate, you know. Thank you for showing this. Yeah, market watch. And so in order to solve the problem with inflation, because right now we are facing with high inflation, and the U.S. federal and with Europe country, they try to fight against inflation, and they increase the rate, you know, the bond rate. So people sold their stock to buy bond because bond is more secure, and they get like 2.5%, you know. Right now it's 2.10, it go to 2.5, and they expect to 2.75. That's why a lot of bullish, they sold their stock, and the bearish is taking stage, you know. If we talk about stock, there's bullish and bearish. I don't know if you play like a bear or you play like a bull. If you play like a bull, it means stock increase, you sold to make profit. But the bearish is the stock decrease, you sold, you sell it to make profit. It's different, you know. So right now it's bearish market, not bullish market. So another problem is the war can be expanded to World War III. And another problem is, you know, the financial system will be crashed because they produce more money. You see that GDP have more number, but actually the real economy is not. This is from professor, one of the professors they describe about the current situation. So I see Cambodia is the worst. Since pandemic, Cambodia, we hear only from Prime Minister Hun Sen about he collect more, you know, more tax profit, every country, like in Canada, when we facing with economic downturn, we reduce tax and we give more money to the people. But Prime Minister Mr. Hun Sen government, when people facing with challenges or pandemic like this, they increase the tax. That's why he collect more tax and more money put into the government coffer. It is contradict, you know. I think he can lie Cambodian people, but he cannot lie the world because it is you know, what can I say, very hilarious for him. And also the tourism industry in Cambodia right now, I think foreigner visiting Cambodia not much, only domestic tourism. That after the COVID pandemic stopped, only internal domestic tourists. And about trade, about agriculture, like I saw the farmer destroy the mangoes, you know, and the huge mango that in Canada I bought it about $1 each, but in Cambodia the farmer threw away and destroy them, like a lot of mango, you know, you see the Facebook, right? And there's another farm in Butterbong. They uproot the mango tree so that they have more land to grow corn. It is unbelievable, you know. Mango, they spend like 5 to 6 years to get fruit, and right now they cut the tree to grow the corn. So this is unbelievable. In Canada, the farmer will get insurance and assistance from the government in case the market is cheap like that. But in Cambodia, the government, they blame the Cambodian people as lazy person. That's why they are poor, right? This is how the elitists in Phnom Penh, they always accuse the Cambodian people that who are poor as lazy people. Actually, Cambodian people are not lazy. But when they spend the energy, they borrow money from microfinance, they lose money and nobody guarantee. Government doesn't step in. They are not lazy. You guys kill the farmer and blaming them as lazy, right? So this is unbelievable, you know. When we see that in social media, and there's some comment to the lady that he said, okay, you can say everything, but no politically related. Oh my goodness. They still scared, even though they lose money, they lose their farm, they have debt and high debt with the microfinance, and their property might be confiscated by the microfinance institution, even though they cannot say anything related to the power, top power. Oh my goodness, unbelievable, you know. So economic in Cambodia will be suffer a lot, because we don't have planned economy at all, and we don't have we don't have justice system, and Hun Sen will try to get more money from selling timber, logging, illegal logging, and natural resources, and money laundering, so that he can sustain his government in the future. That's what I see then.
Thank you, Mr. Sophoan, and thank you for brought up the really good point about agriculture in Cambodia. It's chronic issues as well, and I don't see anyone beside people that living outside Cambodia is pointing fingers at the regime. The government should be able to find a window for farmer to sell their product instead of just throwing it away. That is the responsibility of the government. Also, it's responsibility of the government to find people job. But at the same time, you keep seeing people, you keep seeing our Cambodian crossing the border, going to Thailand to find a job, and that's because they cannot do any farming. Like, again, there's no resource, there's no window for them to sell it, and it's not just mango, it's every single fruit, every single thing in Cambodia that is overflow. Logan a couple months ago, now mango, and it's continue on. So any season, like now is mango season, it's chronic issue because the regime cannot find a way to sell it, to package it, to sell it to other country. Mr. Vannarin, why would Cambodia be so vulnerable to the world economy? Ukraine is not even next door to Cambodia, and it's not even next door to America, but we feel it. But at the same time, America, we have job. America, we have in Cambodia. Why would it be affected? Why would it Ukraine wars impact people in Cambodia?
I want to add another point about macroeconomy that I talked a minute ago. It also the third thing is, in fact, it's COVID, it war at Ukraine, at the sanction, economic sanction to Russia, but also the China crackdown. The big company China crackdown. That happened one year and a half ago. So the Communist Party said that none of the company is bigger than the Communist Party. So they try to crack down Alibaba. They crack down the Tencent company, the big company. And plus right now, the last 2 months, they talk about the zero COVID policy. They close the whole city of Shanghai that has 35 million people. They close down the whole city for almost 2 weeks now. Okay, so this causes a lot of supply chain problem. That's why the inflation go very high since the last 40 years, in Canada, in the United States. So anyway, okay. So now back to Cambodia. I see 2 points. The economy of Cambodia will be very, very hard to pass through. First, economy of Cambodia rely on export, a lot of export. Among $29 billion of GDP, Cambodia, half of them are export to West country. The clothes, the shoe, the bicycle, or all the vacation goods. Everything. It's not a necessity like food. So when the imported country like Canada, America, Europe, or the country buy stuff good from Cambodia, when they have a high interest rate, go to 4%, 5%, and the house, each one, the house price in Canada, in Montreal, we never see this situation, almost double price the last 3-4 years, So with the mortgage of $500,000 for the couple, they had no choice than to cut. So what they cut? They cut the clothes, they cut the luxury goods, not luxury, but it's non-necessity good from Cambodia, bike or the vacation activity go to Cambodia, because also economy of Cambodia rely on tourism, the tourists that bring a lot of money in the Western tourists. It's not China tourists, it's not Vietnamese tourists. The tourists that bring a lot of money to Cambodia is a Western tourist, So these things will cut because of interest rate going high. So they need to buy food, they need to pay the mortgage, they need to pay the rental house, So that is big factor. So I believe the exportation of Cambodia will go down because it's not a food, it's not a necessity good from my point of view. Second point is the interest rate. Imagine, the debt of almost $10 billion for Canada, for other country is not big. But for Cambodia, it's big, it's big for the economy of the 29 billion GDP. So you talk about more than 1/3 is the debt. If you increase 1% of interest rate, because interest rate when you lend the money to Cambodia is based on interest rate of the country. Even China, they increase the interest rate. United States or the country that lend money to Cambodia, the interest rate go up 1%, 2%. Imagine me, I do calculation. on 4 billion debt, because right now the Cambodia is debt with China more than 4 billion, but on 4 billion debt, if you pay 4% interest rate, it's equivalent to $170 million per year, just only interest, just only interest. But don't forget, when you borrow money from the bank or from other country, you need to pay the capital plus the interest. But if you pay the interest almost $200 million per year for small country like Cambodia, but that I talk on half of that, because the total debt is almost $10 billion. So the Cambodia will be very, very tough if the economy, if the export is down, the interest rate is get higher, the tourists will be less. It will be hard. Even China themselves don't rely on the tourists from China. China had a big problem on their economy also. That's why the last 2-3 years they never get any lending money from China. Even Cambodia themselves, they said that they need to reimburse the money to China Communist government. They don't have money to pay the capital and interest per monthly payment. So it will be big problem. I believe it from future economic point of view. I believe Cambodia will be among of the fragile poor country when for the next few years, when you have the crash down, the crash economy, the world crash economy, or the recession economy, the world recession. So that I believe it will be hard, besides some of the issues that Mr. Sophoan talked about, but it will be very tough in the next coming year. Yeah.
Thank you, Lupu. Let me put into perspective, for a normal factory worker make less than $200 a month. Most of that $200 went gone to repaying the bank. And portion of that money also go to food. When food, like Lupu said, is inflation goes so high. So $200 per month can only go so far. And that's the reason why when the world is in Ukraine, affect all these food supply, price increase on food, on agriculture, it's directly impacted Cambodia. And that just, if you looking at it at a very simple, looking at it on the borrowing side, we are $200, I believe probably more than half of that go to the bank, paying back the bank, and a little bit left for food. And when you have a little bit left for food, any price increase will just throw your budget away. And I don't think I can ever live in $200 budget, but people in Cambodia, they do every single day. Looks upon any would like to add to that regarding Cambodia economy. We're talking about agriculture, the mango tree, the mango farmer, and let's go to that. Spending all these money, go to water, taking care of the farm, and then end up not getting any money for the fruit from the tree. And that's how people go into owning the bank and working, and now crossing the border to go to work, now looking for a factory work.
Yeah, that is suffering of the bottom line people. Even though in Canada or in the US, bottom line people are struggling, but they are guaranteed by the justice system and the distribution of nation wealth fairly. And there's a lot of provision and law and authority and NGO, very strong civil society. That's why those bottom line citizens in Canada and US has been protected. But in Cambodia, no. The elitists take advantage from the bottom line people. And with the current economic crisis, only the bottom line people are more poorer and devastated, and their living standard become more fragile and suffering a lot. Because we are poor in governance, transparency, regulation, and justice system. That's why for those bottom line citizens, you have to reconsider about the government activities. they have been hiding many things. First, they stopped the free press, the free media, independent media, so that they have only one-sided media. It means propaganda media, like in Russia, you know. And Russia only government TV, only state TV and state radio that can broadcast. They don't tell the truth to the people. In Cambodia, the same. We have Facebook, we have TikTok, we have YouTube, whatever. But Hun Sen is borrowing hand from China to filter Facebook right now. Like even though our broadcasting like today, I don't know it's outreach to Cambodia or not, maybe blocked already. Mr. Swamransi that have followed about 4 million people in recent weeks, he has been decreased a lot because of the firewall supported by China to help Mr. Hun Sen to stop independent media. And also a single party state like Cambodia right now, no opposing voices. So the voter, especially the voter for CPP, they are committing self-suicidal because you know their life standard has been deteriorated, and the economic crisis like this, only the elites can survive. Those who support the party, you support blindly because you kill yourself through this economy. Because the party hide fact from you. They are hiding all the fact, all the truth from you. You are supporting them to power, but they exercise the wrong power. Not only killing the opposition members, but they're killing everybody in the country. So the Cambodian people, for me, good tolerance to any political tendency, any political parties adherence. I don't mind because politics is about your support to any political parties. But you have to play in a fairness and you have to play in a game that respect the rule. But in Cambodia, you support a party that doesn't play fairly, doesn't respect the rule. So how is your mentality and your mindset to support such party that does not respect the rule, right? So this is the problem, the big problem. But the thing is not only not respect the rule and bias to other political supporters, but they destroy your bowl, destroy your family economy, especially during the crisis like this. You cannot avoid from poorness and from suffering because you elected them and they don't do well. They only give you what we call gift. That is the vote buying or political gift buying election like that. You cannot survive. Your children cannot survive. You have no future. Yeah? You have no sustainability in the future. So my advice is that during this crisis, you try to migrate to Thailand, even though in Thailand they are facing the issue as well. They don't have enough job, and you take risks across the border. You know, a lot of high risk. But inside the country, you don't have job, and you have some job like factory, garment factory, like Mr. Puth put in detail that with the power of buying from Western country is decreasing, you know, because they don't have money, and because inflation. Like even though me in Canada, since pandemic, I reduced buying clothes. I use all the old clothes, no new clothes. That's why the factory worker not expect more sale from the factory. And also inside the country, they don't respect the union labor law. And they use the government exploit the worker, you know. They don't protect the worker, like the Nagawa worker that are protesting and striking right now. So a lot of issues that you destroy yourself, you destroy your family, you destroy your country because you don't have the vision to see the reality and you believe in fabricating news, believe in fake news. So I think they have to wake up to protect your own rice bowl on the table for your children and for your future.
Thank you, Mr. Sophoan. We are at the end of our show. Mr. Vannarin, you want to add anything to our topic? I know we talk about the impact of global economy, and also we're talking about Cambodia affect to that, and we keep saying that, you know, it's even though Ukraine is far away from Cambodia, it still feel the impact of that. Would you like to add anything before we close our show?
Yeah, I want to add a small comment about the China zero COVID policy. My point of view, there are 2 points. The China does not report the real number of the COVID and the death caused by COVID, because in China they don't have a good vaccine made by protein like what we have here in Canada, United States. You know, they use their vaccine, and we know that their vaccine is not efficient, you know. Either they lie on the number, that's why they put the zero COVID rule to suffer the supply chain. You know how supply chain, what is the product that China supply the world? It's a lot. Imagine that when the Chinese try to slow down, try to put zero COVID. Either they did not put the real number on the COVID case in China now, or the Chinese government, the Chinese Communist Party want to amplify the inflation problem, because when you have supply chain problem, the inflation go higher and higher, because this problem is not just Ukraine war. It really China zero COVID, the crackdown policy, you know, it many problems put together. That's why we suffer, everybody suffer around the world, you know. Even you see Sri Lanka, you see other country, you know, missing the wheat to food already, you know, Egypt or some Middle East country. It really either of two. I believe it, but me myself as people that live in democracy country, live in freedom country, I support the sanction economy of Russia. I support the Ukraine. I support, even we suffer on inflation, even we suffer on the food price, energy price. I support that, you know. But sometimes the Chinese the problem from China, that I'm not sure, because like Sophoan said, they try to buy cheap petrol, hiding from the Russia, because the Russia want to sell for any price to get money, you know. So it I don't know how far we can support the Chinese or the product from China, or even them. I'm not sure what is coming next in the next 2-3 next year. I'm not sure, but hoping everything may be changed. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you, Look, Vannarin. We always hope for the best. Look, Sophoan, any last minute before we end our show?
Yeah, for me, the Cambodian people should what we call self-sustainability. It means that it's hard to say, because before we have a lot of farmland left over, but right now with contract, land concession, destroy farmland a lot, and farmer have no farmland because microfinance, they have to sell it to micro institution, and also they have to migrate it to Thailand, and they have no farmland when they come back home, no farm to cultivate. So it's very critical. It's very critical right now for the poor, for the bottom line people. So try to survive by, you have to use exercise your rights to protest economic needs, you know, especially when it comes to food on the table. It's very important, because we cannot survive without food. Yeah, and for the food, people can do everything. Like Cambodian people remind themselves about the Khmer regime, that like no enough food, and they can steal. They become bad person because stealing, so that they can survive from day to day, and they eat raw fish, raw crab, or whatever they can catch to eat, to survive. So all these things, it become chaotic. Is the people not stand up together to protect their own rice bowl on time? It might be too late to protect their rice bowl in the future, and their children will be starved to death in the future when the world become more destructive. I don't know. The peace talk between Ukraine and Russia failed second time, and Russia foreign minister warned US about using nuclear weapon. So it's very scary. And right now, Canada today just amended a law that they can seize all the asset and property from Russian billionaire to give back to Ukraine. And US is supporting this, and US will be the next country to seize all those assets that has been frozen from Russian billionaire and Russian government. So Russian government default their foreign debt, I think about 400 billion. Sorry, my figure might be wrong, but it's a lot. Yeah, I think 600 billion. 600 billion default right now. So this money can give back to Ukraine, can feed Ukraine another 100 years. Because when you lose the war, you have to pay back the money. And with this new financial sanctions, Putin might have no option, might use nuclear weapon, but he will die too. He want to kill order, but Russia, the whole country will die as well. So I don't know. It's very scary as well in the future. Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you, Luke Sophoan, and thank you, Luke Vannarin, for joining our show today. It was a great topic for our Khmer Youth Voices for Justice program. It's very important that we pay attention to everything's around us, and also it's very important as we speak, because those affected in Cambodia, and they need to use their voice, they need to stand up, because whatever happened in the world will affect them, and affect them due to the decision that the top leader is making. We touch base on the world economy. We share a little bit on Canada. We share a little bit on America, where the price of the inflation is going up, and the food and gasoline is going up. And the same thing in Cambodia. It's no different, except that in Canada and in America, there's food bank. And if you need food, you can always drive to a food bank to pick up food. The government will support you. Versus in Cambodia, there's no places that you can pick up food. And I also said it already, the average Cambodia probably making $200 a month. That's from being a factory worker, and $200 a month paying the debt to the bank. There's nothing left to eat. So a very little bit of whatever they're making, it's impacting directly. Even though Ukraine is far away from Cambodia, Ukraine is far away from America, we feel it. And when we feel it here in America and Canada, the people in Cambodia feel it more because of that no support from the regime. Please use your voice. Please, don't just look at it today, affecting their rice bowl. Tomorrow will affect you. So I always said that in Cambodia. So watch out for each other, stand up with each other. And the regime been in power for almost 40 years and nothing changed. And like we beginning of our show, we are remembering Mr. Chutbuti as well. Today is his 10 years anniversary of being assassinated, and 10 years without any justice. So, and 10 years the chronic issue of the deforestation, land grabbing doesn't go away. So it's time for a change. It's time for our youth, and it's time for everyone in Cambodia to take a closer look of what is it that they want in life. And 10 years already, there's no justice, and 37 years, almost 40 years of what they call development is not going anywhere. Development where the people are suffering because of land grab, and the people are suffering because there's no job in the country. The agriculture, there's no agriculture. Cambodia should be an agriculture country where mango shouldn't be thrown away, Logan shouldn't be thrown away. The government, the head of state should be able to find window to sell those stuff. So, and this is the reason why we are talking about Cambodia economy today. So I thank you, Mr. Sophoan, and thank you, Look Vannarin, for joining me today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you, our audience, for being here today. I appreciate that. Like I said it in beginning, if I have not wish you a happy new year, I wish you a happy Khmer New Year. Please be safe, please be healthy. Most of all, be healthy. Your health is very important. If you don't have your health, then there's nothing you can do in the world because you be sick and not feeling well. So please take care of your health. I wish nothing than good health. And also, today is Tuesday in America. So Tuesday, April 26, 2022. Wherever you at, please be safe. Please have a great day, great evening, good morning, and I'm looking forward to hosting the show again next Tuesday. Please stay tuned. And if you would like me to talk about anything, please don't forget to put it on the comment line. I do read them. I appreciate your comment, and thank you to our audience. I'm saying hi to everybody. So thank you so much for being here with me today. Thank you for listening. Thank you for commenting. And I'm looking forward to seeing you again next Tuesday. Thank you.